So traders, one of the big things that I really want to sort of guide you through, I want to give you a really good market update today, real across all the markets when it comes to the major markets, silver, gold, mining sector, the stock market, energy sector, oil, a lot of different markets out there, guys, that I believe are going to have some really big moves. And one thing I really want to encourage you to do is stop looking for a short-term move in the markets, right? Stop looking for a short-term one-day trade and start to look, how can I capitalize on a really big profit, right? Because let me ask you a question. If you put $1,000 today, what is better? What's going to help you have a really good year? Trying to get $1,000 trade or trying to get a $5,000 trade, meaning like a $5,000 profit trade, right? Obviously a $5,000 profit trade, right? That's the thing that's going to help you. And one of the things I really want to start off this session here with you today, and one thing that I have to challenge myself all the time as well too, is our small thinking. Our small thinking. And one thing I've been thinking about, I've been having a good old therapy session this morning with ChatGPT. All right, which is, by the way, it's awesome, by the way. If you want to ask it some truths, it can really, really help you there. But the thing that I really want to sort of coach you guys in there is that we think too small, right? We think way too small. And when it comes to these markets here, I really want you to be thinking, and one of the worst mistakes that I used to make when trading the markets was looking at the markets too small. So I'm looking at gold right now, okay? And if I'm looking at gold right now, a lot of the times I was always looking, firstly I was doing the wrong thing by zooming in way too much. Okay, so way too much. If I'm looking at a daily chart right now, I'm looking at this here way too much. I was always the biggest mistakes that I was making there, right? And then so therefore I couldn't really see the forest from the trees. One of the most amazing things that I've learned from all my mentors that are really successful, right? We're talking 7-figure traders, people that make more than $1 million a year, right? Those type of caliber traders. One of the biggest things you'll learn from those things is they always talk about having multiple time frames. So if I'm looking at a daily chart right now, firstly, I'm zooming right in for the last few months, which is key to see what's happening right now. But the most important part to me is two things. Firstly, zoom it out so you can get a good, say, 12 months, sometimes even 2 years. And the number one thing you want to be focusing on is where's the trend, right? The trend is your friend until the end. And then the second thing you want to do is, okay, let's actually go to the weekly chart and do the exact same thing. And if there is a very clear trend in place, then you only want to be trading, with that trend there, right? You want to be going with that trend. So, and the reason why I started off with this session here when it comes to your thinking, and now, by the way, guys, I think that there's a link in the description there. I'm actually giving away 4 of my top trading courses for $4 only. So if you're actually looking for a really good trading system that actually works on all markets, I think it's the 3rd link in the description there, guys. You can click on that and get access to that. It's $4 for my top 4 trading systems. The one thing one thing that really changed the game of my personal trading and when it comes to these markets is, if you've been following me now for the last few months, you've heard me talk about, for example, my platinum trade, right? So if I go to, where is this one right here, right? So this is platinum here, and this is obviously a platinum weekly chart. And I got in here and I rode a big move up. One of the big things that completely changed the game, the way that I personally trade the markets, and I know it's going to change you, is instead of looking for a lot of trades, whether that's doing an option strategy where you're looking for a spread and you're looking to make a quick little credit, or you're doing a strangle and you're looking for a short-term weekly move to get a weekly profit, right? One of the big things I've learned in life in general is that the big money is not made in short-term movements. The big money is made in long-term movements of a continuation, right? So, and the reason why I'm saying that this is because I really want to coach you and guide you down the path of how are you thinking about your trading, right? Because for me personally, when everything changed for me with my trading, I used to trade the 1-minute charts, the 2-minute charts, the 5-minute charts, and they're still good. You still can do really well from that. But when everything changed for me personally, about the way that I was trading these markets, the way that I was looking at these markets was, firstly, I stopped looking at those charts. Secondly, I started looking for opportunities where I could put in, say, a $20,000 position. If I could put in a $20,000 trade today, I'm looking for a potential 6-figure profit out of that trade. Now, when I say potential, I'm bringing down to patterns that I know that's going to give me a high probability of making a big move, right? It's not just the made up like, well, I hope this is going to make a big move, right? No, I'm actually trading patterns that says when this pattern forms, it's probably going to make a big move. For example, like platinum, right? With platinum, I got in on the breakout down here, and I did all this on YouTube, so I showed you guys, all right? That breakout there, I put all this on YouTube for you guys. You can go, actually, yeah, you can probably go check out my last couple of months. You can go check down here in May. I actually got in here and I wrote it up, and I made a lot of money out of platinum. But I really want to switch your focus here, right? As your coach and as your mentor, to really help you coach you down the right path of how are you thinking about your trading, right? See, while you're looking for, you may do the exact same trade as me, right? If I do a $20,000 trade, I'm looking for the potential to what? To make a six-figure profit there. Now, it's not always going to be a six-figure profit, right? For example, platinum, a $20,000 trade would have equaled around $45,000 profit. But let me ask you a question. How many of those trades do you need now to be in the six and multiple six figures? Not that many. You see what I'm saying here, right? So one of the biggest things that stopped me from so long is one, trying to trade a lot, right? And I'm seeing that so much. One of the biggest rookie mistakes that I'm seeing when it comes to big profits in the market is you think you're too short term, right? You're thinking way too short term, right? When it comes down to your approach and your ability to trade these markets, is that you want to be thinking long term. How do I put on a trade right now that over the next, instead of trying to look for $1,000 a week, how do I look for a trade that's potentially like do a $10,000 this month? See the differences. Now, what are the differences? One, you're trading a lot, so the broker's making a lot of money, right? And secondly, when you trade a lot, there's a lot of emotions that goes into trading, right? A lot of emotions that goes in. If you're actively trading, get in now, get double up, risk, stop, get it, get back, quick. No, stop. You see what I'm saying here, right? So you see what I'm saying? Like the reason why I'm starting off the video with this over here, because I really want to get you thinking the right thoughts when it comes down to your trading of how you're approaching the market. Because at the end of the day, trading is a hard thing, right? It's a difficult process. And so if we're doing things, and now initially, I understand initially when it comes down to us approaching the markets, us trading the markets, us getting over the markets, right? Because we think more activity, more trades equals more income. No. I want to switch your focus. Jumping on a trade and holding it for a while, not just one day, but 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and having a big move in that direction on one trade. That's how you make a big profit, right? If you want to make a lot of money out of the markets, get into trades that's likely to make you a lot of money, but give it time, right? It's not going to happen in one day. It's not going to happen in 1 week, right? So these things take time. Even with my Ethereum trade, right? Where's Ethereum here? I hope I didn't delete it. Where are you? Here, right? My Ethereum trade. I got into Ethereum. I'll bring it back to just this one here, right? So I got in Ethereum down here, but I had to wait 2 or 3 or 4 days for it to actually start to move. I had to be patient, and then boom, took off. And then this thing just absolutely just took off like a rocket. Again, I'm mentioning these trades that I've done because I've actually mentioned these on YouTube. I started talking about Ethereum a month ago, saying, guys, I'm getting involved with Ethereum right now because I think it's going to have a big move. And I've been like all that sort of stuff. But the purpose of me saying this here is I'm not getting into Ethereum here and looking for a small move up. And that's the trade done. No, I'm looking for Ethereum to get in here and ride it up to here to make a big move. So therefore, if I'm risking 20 grand down here, I can potentially make $100,000 up here. If that was my risk. Now, when I say risk there, right, some people are like, 20 grand risk, John? That's my entire trading account. I'm not saying you do that, right? If you had a $20,000 risk, to be comfortable, you need at least a few $100,000 a few $100,000 maybe a lot more, probably $400,000-$500,000, in your trading account for that to be non-emotional to your trading. Make sense? So see something. I can't do $20,000 risk, John. It's like, no, but you've got to bring it down to what you're comfortably doing, right? What you're comfortably doing from there. So I really want you to be thinking more about how can I strategically set up to not taking on big risk, but taking on more positions where I can actually look for more bigger profits, right? And that's the reason why I coach. That's the reason why I have my 1% group where I'm with them every single day, not only to help them with the identification of these trades and then riding them out for big profits, but helping them managing their emotions throughout the trades, where to get in, where to get out, managements, and so on and so forth. And that's the reason why I'm with them for a couple of hours every single day, the market's open, to really coach them and guide them through the process there. If you're interested in joining that group with me, where I can coach you and guide you, and if you're struggling right now, guys, I know that I can help you, okay? I think it's that second link in the description. You fill out the application form, guys, and I'll personally have a good chat with you and see if we can see if I can help you out from there. Because I guarantee you guys that one of the things that I've learned of my trading is it's not just the strategy, right? It's the trade management side of things. And there's three main pillars that I've learned out of trading. Firstly, it's the trade selection. Do you even know what to look for in a good trading setup? If the answer is no, then you're downhill from there. Secondly, do you know how to actually have good trade management where you can actually let the profits run and cut the losses short? Unfortunately, a lot of traders, they're having small profits, big losses, and that's not the way to go, right? You need to have a strategy that actually does that. So what I do is when I get into a trade, I have this here was my risk and this here was my profit. Do you see the differences here? That bubble there was my risk. And this here was my profit. I'm actually still in it right now, by the way. I've been moving my stop up. So I hope you can see what I'm saying here, right? And when it comes down to that there. So it's that there. So it's not only trade selection, what are the good trades to get into, but then it's also trade management, right? How do you manage the trade properly through your emotions and through good trade management to let the profits run, right? And then there's the mindset side of things and so on and so forth from there. So I wanted to start off with this coaching video for you guys to help you when it comes down to that from there, because it's just something that's really, 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 really important, and something that completely changed the game for me, and that allowed me to start to have really successful years in a row, and not just struggling when it comes to, and one of the big things I switched was, instead of short-term trading, which there's a big thing about day trading, right? If you have a lot of day trades, it's not as easy as that, as pretty much most of you guys know. So there's the little coaching part of it done there. Let's actually go down to the actual. Let's start off with the good old gold and silver. Gold and silver, and then we'll go through the mining sector as well too. To when it comes down to what's happening here with the markets. Now, one of the really most important things that I see with a lot of traders is, firstly, if you get emotional about any one particular day, right? You're getting emotional about one particular day. This is what I want you to do. Don't have candlesticks. And firstly, you see how like silver had a down day today. If you are jumping out of the, oh my God, oh no, right? You're going down that path. No. Right? We can't. If you're doing that right now, you're trading way too much money, right? You can't be doing that, because especially trading a thing like silver. If you're trading silver, you must understand that's a bit of a wildcat. It's going to move around and herky-jerky for you, right? But what I want you to do is, when you're looking at any market out there, is the very first big mistake you can do is like, oh my goodness, look, that's a big down red candle. Yeah, so this was a big red down candle as well too. And then I pick back up, and then we have another big down candle, right? And then away we go from here. So looking at the silver price right now, is silver's actually still in a very nice upward trend. See, what a lot of traders do is they forget on what's actually going on here. And this is where the trend is your friend until the end. This is where, if you're trading things like, if you're trading heads and shoulders and double tops and divergences, you are on the wrong side. You are on the wrong side. And that's the worst type of trading. Why? Well, there was a double top there, wasn't there? And the market didn't go down. Oh, well, that wasn't double top. That was a double top there, John. Look, that was, and the market did. Look, that was a double top there, wasn't it? Oh, there's a double top now. We should go short. And meanwhile, you're going short against the trend. See what I'm saying here? So this is where you, like, people trying to pick tops and bottoms, like people trying to short a big bull market. It's the worst thing to do. Don't do that, right? So they're looking at the update when it comes to silver price is, yes, we're going to get a lot of wild swings from here. And that's where, like, the thing for me is, I really love looking at black charts, even black charts, and then zooming it out for a little bit. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom this out just a little bit more. And all I'm trying to see is, where's the overall trend here on this chart here, right? So this is one thing that I really have learned through my own personal trading, is I used to get so sucked into, and who's been there before, right? Like you might be in a long position. Say for example, you're long silver now and it goes down. We're probably going to get a little bit more weakness out of silver right now, right? By the way, bit of FYI. But it goes down. But what is the trend still right now? The trend is still what? Very up, right? So who at a point, and this, I know this so right, who at a point where the market would, you get to a point where you can't hold on anymore, you get out, and then that'll be the turning point. It's like the market knows, right? It's like, and you get out. That emotion, I promise you, is going to suck you dry, right? And this is what I'm telling you right now, guys. If you're serious about becoming a 1% trader, firstly, apply for my 1% group. That's second link in the description. But if it's not me, get some proper coaching and guidance, right? Because you need someone who's had a lot of years of experience in actual trading the markets, by the way, in actual trading, right? If you, bit of FYI, if you're going to choose a coach that's going to coach you, if you choose a coach and you need to have a coach that's in alignment with your goals, right? So for example, like a person like Adam Koo on YouTube, he's amazing for people that are looking to buy and hold some good companies and ride them out for many years. So if that's what your strategy is, buy and hold and capitalize on the moves over the next 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years, maybe longer, then that's who you should be focusing on. But if you're more like, okay, I'm looking for opportunities look for some good trading opportunities because I'm being a bit more active, not every day, but like I'm looking to get in, hold it for a month or 2 or 3 months, have a good profit, get out, look for another trade, hold it for a month or 2, get out, profit. If that's the style of trading, then I'm your guy, right? Because for me, my number one thing is, now by the way, I have long-term stuff as well too in the markets. But if you're looking for I'm looking to generate a good return this year, right? Then I'm your guy. I hope you can see what I'm saying there, right? You want to make sure what is your main goals from here. So back to the topic at hand when it comes to the silver price, is one of the things here is silver's going to do a lot of things, right? Silver went down today. So one thing that, and you can see this here, and then a lot of emotion is built into this. So the thing for me, once again, is I used to spend a lot of time firstly like this, and I used to say, oh my goodness, it's down, there's a down can, oh my god, it's like one of the things I learned is by me getting sucked into the emotion of a one candle. Firstly, I'm zoomed right in so it looks bigger than it really is, and secondly, if I'm looking for a big profit in the markets, I must understand that the market is gonna swing, right? It's gonna swing, sometimes it's gonna pause, sometimes, like a big profit over 6 weeks is not, if you think about a big profit, right? So for example, I was in a trade, there was a trade that I did that made me 300% return in the last couple of weeks. There was a trade at the start of the year that I was in for about 6 weeks, but that trade made me 170% return, 170% return. This is utilizing options in about that, I think it was about a couple of months. I think it was about 2 months in total. Now, pretty good, right? Get into the trade, a couple of months later, make 170% return on my investment. Pretty good, right? Now, here's the thing. Do you know that sounds pretty good? But do you know that trade, when I got into it, it did this for 1 month. And then the second month did that. And this is where having emotional control is so important. But firstly, emotional control along with good strategic trade management techniques to help you stay, okay, I should be out of this trade right now, or I should just let it go, it's okay, right? There's still a lot of momentum, there's still a lot of trend, a lot of momentum here. And so a lot of traders, what I used to do, because when I first started trading, because I didn't know how to control my emotions, is through this bit through here, I would get emotional and get out. Oh my God, I think it's going to go down. Oh my God, it's going to go, it's going to go down. And I would get out, I'll get out. So, oh my goodness, it's going to go down. And then I'll get out. How many, again, you guys have done it so many times, right? I've done that so many times. Oh, I get out because of fear. That fear and that FOMO and all that sort of stuff that goes down this path of doing all this sort of stuff. And then we get out, and then a month later you see that, right? So so to stop yourself from doing that, stop thinking short term. Secondly, think big moves over the course of a couple of months period. And thirdly, if you're thinking like that, you must understand that you're going to get sometimes this herky-jerky for a few weeks. It's going to be up and down, up and down. Now, again, I'm not saying just stay in the trade for no reason. This is where, guys, the three main pillars is so important. Firstly, get into the trade that's likely to have a big move, right? You need to understand that in the first place, right? It's not just a gambling game, right? You need to treat this seriously. Then the second thing is we need to use proper trade management techniques to say, is silver likely to be a top in the market right now? If I'm long silver right now, right? And if I'm long silver right now, and it is, and I need to use proper trade management techniques to say, is this the end of the move right now? Meaning we're going to fully collapse. The percentage, what's the percentage of that happening? Compared to this is just a short-term little pullback and we're probably likely to continue this upward movement. There's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of trend, and so on and so forth. Like, what is the percentages there? By utilizing proper trade management techniques, you're not going to be sucked out by all of this here. Look at this here, right? So all through here, you had big bar, and those who got sucked out, especially with silver, right? Again, if you're trading silver, it's a bit of a wildcat. You're going to get a lot of volatility, a lot of emotions from there. You see what I'm saying here? So that's the three pillars are trade selection, and then trade management. You got to have those are the things you need to master to become really good at trading. What is a really good trade that looks like? And then secondly, what sort of techniques do I need to apply right now? And I apply every single trade to say I need to be still in this trade because there's a massive high probability that this is going to continue. This is going to continue and make me a really nice profit in the next couple of months. You see what I said there, right? Not this week, right? So if I'm long silver right now, I'm looking to make a profit over the next 2 months. But if I get out right now, if I'm in a trade right now and I'm at a loss right now, am I getting out now because I think it's going to keep going down? What is that? Is that fear? I guarantee fear is going to destroy you, right? So this is where, and then the third section there is all about just the three mindset pillars: your consistency, your discipline, and your patience. Especially, I've always found that patience is a big thing there, right? Patience in, patience out. Especially when you're in a big trade, be patient, right? Even when it comes to my platinum trade, I talked about my platinum trade, right? Do you know when I got into my platinum trade? Look at this here. I got into my platinum trade right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost 2 weeks of nothing. Almost 2 weeks of nothing. But look at the big move out of platinum go. Wouldn't that be nice? How are you going to handle your emotions with that bit through there? I guarantee you, people that are trading way too much, have too much risk and too much emotional, they were and would have gotten out. But me, no, I entered right here on this breakout candle. We went sideways for 10 days, which is almost, actually that is 2 weeks, isn't it? Let me do my measuring tool. Yeah, or basically 14 days. 10 bars, 14 days. Yeah, 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, it did nothing. But what was my end result? I got out up here for a 250% return. Oh, wow, John. But do you notice here? I had to be patient for the first couple of weeks, right? And then the move started. Because you don't know. Sometimes you get into the trade and the move happens really, really quickly, right? And so I hope you can see what I'm saying there when it comes down to, and the thing I'm talking about here is all markets, right? You're all trading, not just, I'm not doing analysis on silver. I'm talking about you're all trading, right? And so if you're looking at these silver prices, one of those things is people get so emotional, right, about their trading. So the way that I like to bring it back, right? Let's bring it back here. One thing that I always like to do myself is, as you can see, we're getting very emotional here. So I always like to use what? Black bars. And I like to zoom out for maybe one. So this is 1 year worth of data here, right? Let me bring out to maybe we say 1 year worth of data. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to apply some management techniques to say, is this likely to be A, or what's going on here? And so the thing for me, when I'm always looking at any particular market, right, is firstly, if there is if there's the trend is your friend until the end, right? Because look at this here. Market went up and then went down. Went up and down and up, and it's probably going to go down here and so on and so forth, right? We're probably going to get a pullback here. But looking at the silver price right now, when you see this here, this down bit through here, if we do get that, is that going to be a complete end out of silver? If you're a day trader, you're looking for this move. Yeah, you're like, oh, that's it, it's all over, top's in, novel. Is that likely to be that? Or if I go to my weekly charts now, if I go to this chart here and I bring up my weekly chart, or is it now we're looking at the real big picture, or are we likely to just do that and then continue this higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low? So what happens if we do get a pullback for a couple of weeks here? Is the complete top in? No. Right? Look at all these bits through here. And people that got herky-jerky about it, one, made a loss, and two months later, they look back like, oh man, why did I get out of that trade for? Look at that thing run on now. Oh, I got out with a 30% loss or a 40% loss out of thing because I thought it was going to keep going down. And now if I just held on to that thing, it would have been a 400% profit. Who's been there before? Me, this guy. That's what I'm teaching you right now. Because I need to do things like if I'm in trades right now, and I'm actually in 2 trades right now in these markets. And when it comes to all these different markets here, I need to do things to make sure that I'm, one, not getting shaked out by short-term movement, and two, making sure that I'm still prepared for the big move to come. And so that's what we can see there. So for example, with silver right now is breaking apart here. And now we're actually breaking down, right? So I'm actually expecting probably a bit more weakness to come out of silver here, right? So we're probably going to have a bit more of a weakness, I would say. I wouldn't be too surprised to see, now I don't know this for a fact, right? But wouldn't be too surprised to see if silver actually has a bit more weakness now. And then that may turn into a top, by the way. That may turn into a top. And then it may collapse from there. So that also can happen as well too. Right? And so that's what I'm seeing there with silver right now, guys. But the number one thing for me, guys, is firstly, wherever the trend is, go with that. Secondly, do not be trading against the trend. But John, you don't understand. I saw silver and there's a double top right now. And there's also divergences on the stochastics. And then the market does that. You're like, yes. And then it does that on you. And you're like, oh. Right? Don't trade divergences and against the market. Rule number 1, guys. If there is a trend in place, go with that only. But then there's times to get involved with that trend. Right? The biggest mistake I'm seeing right now is, and I'm seeing it even on the stock market, is people are looking to short the stock market right now. I'll get to that in just a minute. Anyway, so let's go look at gold. And let me just bring on the big picture with gold. One thing I'm noticing here, let's go to the weekly chart here with gold. One thing I'm noticing here when it comes to the gold price is gold's just holding here really nicely. Really, really, really nicely. So I'm waiting for a really nice breakout, because if we get a really nice breakout, I think gold has one more move in it, because I do see possibly 2026 being a very bad year for the market. Now, when I say bad year, we're down another 20% or so, 25% or so, right? We're probably likely to go through the tariff thing. You know how the markets were down 20%, sometimes more. I see that happening again, right, in 2026. But I think it's going to be a lot more slow. I don't think we're going to have the big bang in 1 month. I think it's going to slowly go down, and then we're going to do that. But then on the other side of that, I see really big moves coming. But looking at the actual silver price, the gold price here, gold is just going sideways here, right? Big weekly charts. Always keep an eye on those weekly charts, guys. And the first rule you want to do is, look, any market, the number one thing I'm looking at is what's the trend, right? And then as you can see, the trend is low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and higher low, right? And higher low. And this is where, guys, I promise you, if you're trading double tops, I promise you, that double top failed. That double top failed. That double top failed. We're in a double top. Oh, John, it's a double top right now. Let's go short. You see what I'm saying here, right? If you just traded with the market, which, by the way, these higher lows are the big boys' footprints. They're telling you what's going on. They're saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Hey. And you're like, screw you, I'm going to go against you. Bulldozer, run over you. Right? Look at this here. Losing trade, losing trade, losing trade, losing trade. And if you did make a profit, guess what? Small profit, big loss, small profit, big loss, small profit, big loss. Oh, flip it on its head with the market, with the market, with the market, with the market, right? So that's what we're seeing through there when it comes down to gold. So if we go down to the actual shorter term charts now, more like these charts here, we're just going sideways here. So let's bring on this here. And let me bring on, say, the last sort of 6 months. We can just see here from the last 6 months, we're just going sideways here. So depending on what happens here with gold, right? If gold does hold here and we start to break above this level here, let's bring on the GLD price. This actually could be quite nice here from the GLD perspective as well too, right? So this is the GLD chart through here, right? It's more like that through there, or maybe even like that through there. That's it there, right? Look at that there, BEA beautiful, BEA beautiful, right? And then we have something going on through there. Forget the moving averages. Actually, let's take off all the moving averages now and I'll bring on the last 6 months worth of data, right? Last 6 months worth of trend here, right? Let's do this here to here, right? And let's go from here to here, right? There we go, right? So we're squeezing up through here. And this here is what's called fuel. And this is where, like, you've got to be really, really, really careful where you're getting into a trade. And this is where people still give me flack for this shit. It's like, you are a monkey, right? So the reason I'm saying this here is, as you know, like at the start of this year, when gold was doing this here, I was saying to people who are looking for a trade, now's not the right time. Because we're either going to A, have a really good pullback and then continue up, or B, we're going to do this here. So you're getting in at the end of the move. That was the whole thing from there, right? And then people who did get into a trade up through here, right? When the market was booming through here, and I was saying, oh guys, no, now's the wrong time to get into a trade. Because they're getting towards the end of the move. The move's already done. You're not capturing a big move. But then so many, and this is where people's, but John, you don't understand. The reason why gold's going up is central banks are buying it. What a lot of bullshit. What happened to the central banks here? Stop looking at fundamental reasons, looking at how these markets work, right? Because I know, and the reason I was doing this is because I know people are loading up on leverage positions here, people buying call options here. Guess what's happened to their call options right now? Getting destroyed. So even though we didn't get the big drop I was looking for here, I know people that were looking up on leverage positions are losing a lot of money right now in gold. That's my whole thing about, right? If you look at my analysis and that's all the same thing. When any single market has a really big move up like this for a while and it goes parabolic, aka what gold did back through here, you know that's the wrong time to get involved with it. Because every time that happens, we eventually go through a really good correction or we go through one of these for a few months. Either way, from a trading perspective, not a long-term buy and hold. People are like, John, I've got physical gold. Should I get out? No, you're listening to a technical analysis trader. Looking at the markets, what's happening right now, and what could happen over the next 3 to 6 months. You don't say your physical gold should be a 5-year plan, not a what's going to happen in the next 2 months plan. Right? Be smart about the way you're trading, right? Be smart. I'm a trader, right? I also do see big long-term moves. But I hope you can see what I'm saying here, right? This is the reason why, like, a lot of people have been giving me shit about my gold call, but my gold call was because I know a lot of traders are buying like things for people are buying call options on the GLD. And I guarantee people that were buying call options here, and I saw people like, oh, I'm up. It's going to keep going up. And there was so much bullish activity. And my whole job as around gold was to tell you not to get involved with this. See, my job as a coach, this is the reason why, guys, you need to apply for my 1% group, right? This is only for people that really want to do really well in the markets. You little dibble-dabbers, my group's not for you. My whole thing about my coaching is, one, to tell you when not to get involved with the market because it's the wrong time. And B, look to get involved in the markets because it's likely to make a big move in the next couple of months. So let's get involved with this. That's what I'm looking for, right? Looking for that next big move. So what was I doing with gold? I wasn't getting involved with gold here. Why? Because it was likely to do this here. So while you're trying to get involved with gold, what was I doing? Oh, Ethereum, big move. Platinum, big move. You see what I'm saying? And then let this thing cool off a bit. And then if gold's going to go for another big move, which I do see it's likely to happen soon, I haven't got my trigger yet, but if we do start to see a little bit of a breakout up here, guess what's going to happen? We are going to go down the path of probably a really big move, right? And this here will be, in that 4 trading systems for $4, guys, in that link in the description there, video number 1 is it's called the blast off trading system. This looks really, really, really similar to the blast off trading setup there. So if you want to know what type of setup this would be called the blast off setup, where it has the potential of making a really big move really quickly. So invest $4, guys. In that very first system, the blast off trading system, you'll be able to see what to potentially look for out of gold and what would be the entry point to look for out of gold before it actually makes that blast off type of move. Make sense? So that's what I'm seeing there, guys, when it comes to the gold price from here. But every single market I'm looking at is, firstly, I'm saying, what's the trend and what's going on? What's the trend and what's going on? What's the trend and what's going on? What do I mean by that? So if I go look at, say, things like, for example, GDX here, right? Firstly, what's the trend? What is the trend? Let's identify the highs and lows, and we only can go with that. But John, you don't understand the Bollinger Bands or the stochastics. Who gives a shit about that? Like, how many times have you seen a very big bull market where the stochastics and RSI has been overbought and oversold? Right? I used to trade like this. This is how I used to trade. Do you know how confusing this is? How confusing is this? Well, I'm trying to use this indicator, actually, this is actually 2 stochastics. There's a very slow stochastic and there's a very fast stochastic. And here is a RSI and the volume. And by the way, I got the Bollinger. Oh my goodness, no. It's actually not that complicated. You do realize, by you having so much on your charts and so much in the markets, you do realize that's the thing that's actually slowing you down. Right? We want less confusion. It's actually not that complicated. We have a 50-50 chance initially. What screws your mind is, firstly, how you're trading, right? I'm looking to get into a trade and I'm looking to make a profit this week. And next week I'm looking to make a profit and next week I'll make a profit. No, get into a trade and say, over the next month I'm looking to make a big profit. And if I do that over the course of 1 year, I can have a really big profit. Right? And the broker cannot make as much money from me. Actually, he still makes a lot of money from me because then I trade a lot of contracts. Right? But you see what I'm saying here, right? All this here is rubbish. Rubbish. We don't need it. What do we need? And I have this here just for educational to show you this here. But what do we need? Let's go to here. Let's just go to a few simple things here. Let's go to this chart here. This chart here is looking at let's go 1 year worth of data. Class is in session. We have a 50-50 probability. Market low here goes up, higher high, come down, higher low, comes up, down, higher low, comes up, high, low. Now, by the way, guys, I look at the major highs and major lows. That's a major high, that was a major low, major high, major low, major high, major low. See how these small ones? That's not me. Major high, major low. Market go up, market go down. So if you understand that one simple thing, what is the probability of this stock doing? Is it A, going up, or B, going down? By you just doing that one simple thing in the markets, you've increased it from 50-50 probability to now, 70% probability? Now we're going to understand that what is a trend? That one, when the trend is your friend until the end, but we also do know when the market goes through swings, right? We go through what's called energy phase. Now this I'm going to teach you in that free trading course, guys. First link in the description. I think it's video number 4. I go through what's called the energy phases of the market. When the market's in an upward trend, we're going to understand what type of phase we're in, right? We're either in an energy using phase. And what is that? The energy using phase is when, let me see if I can bring on a green. Right, green, here we go. An energy using phase is when the market's going up like this here. It's moving in, if the market's, like for example, GDX, the market is clearly in an upward trend right now, right? We're clearly in a big upward trend right now. So if we're in an upward trend, there's different phases within that trend. There is the energy using phase. So it's using energy to move the market up, right? We're going up. The market's in an upward trend, cool. But we're going through the energy using phase. Energy using, right? And then this becomes more like, say, for example, energy, right? You started off energy here with 100, but then eventually it got to what? 0, where you run out of energy. Like it's me going to the gym, right? Me preparing for my next boxing fight. Or I know I just did High Rocks event recently and I'm doing another High Rocks again in at the end of this year. right? There's times when I'm training and guess what? I've run out of energy. I'm done for the session, coach. No more. Coach says, I don't care. 1 hour left. Right? We've run out of energy. Energy using phases within the markets. So firstly, identify where the trend is. Now let's overlay another technique called the energy using phase. So the energy using phase is when the market's going if the trend is up and we identified that, then these here is when the market's been using a lot of energy. We're buying it up, 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 and then we eventually get to the empty tank here. And then what happens? Then we need to have a bit of a pullback or a sideways phase for a few weeks. For what? For us to refuel. And then guess what? Then we go for buying energy, buying energy, buying energy, buying energy, right? And then we go through a refueling phase, which is energy refueling. And then energy using, we've got buying up, buying it up, buying up, buying up, all right, and we go through this level here, and then we go through, then there comes to a point when then we go through these periods through here, which is the energy using phase, energy building phase, and then it goes through another swing to the upside, right? Energy using phase, and then now we're doing an energy building phase. So if we know how with trend is markets to the upside, and we know there's swings in markets, we go through an energy building phase or energy using phase, and then eventually we're going to run out of energy, right? And then we're going to go through an energy building phase. And then eventually after the energy is built, we're ready to go for what? Another energy using phase, energy building, energy using. And that they go through swings. So right now, what's happening with the GDX? The GDX has been in what type of phase? It's been in the energy building phase, right? It's building energy for the last couple of months now. Eventually, what phase is going to start to kick in soon? Eventually, we're going to build enough energy to then what? Then start to use that energy, right? So therefore, there's a high probability we're going to start to what? Do another energy using phase. And the energy using phase is probably going to be with the trend. And this is where your best trades are after the market has built an energy, especially for a few months. Then look to get into the trade. Now you understand when it comes to the energy phases, right? And if I go to the weekly charts here, you will understand why I was saying, what the hell is that? Okay, cool, right? So I even like to look at this from this is where I like even look at this from a weekly chart perspective, right? Energy using, right? Look at this here. And then we went through what? Energy building. We're building a lot of energy now. And if you understand that, if we've been in, and this is where like understanding the energy phase, we've been using a lot of energy through here. So you don't know when the energy is going to completely run out, but you know we've been going up for a while, we've been using a lot of energy. And if this is 100 here and this is 0 here, you run out of energy. And if if we've been here, you say we might have maybe 20% left, but that's it. You know that's a dangerous time to get involved with it, because now we're going to eventually go into what? An energy, say it with me, building phase. Why did my Ethereum trade work so well? What sort of phase did we do? This was energy using. What did Ethereum do here? It did what? A whole bunch of energy building. Why did I get involved with Ethereum? Because I was building a lot of energy. And then also eventually I know that the energy is going to be full. We're going to have a full tank and we're going to start to release that energy. And if the market is starting to trend up, there's a high probability that when they release that energy, it's going to be with the trend. Low, higher, low. Do you see what I'm saying here? I'm just utilizing the chart right now, guys. And I'm teaching you 2 techniques. 1, trend analysis. What is the trend? And 2, energy phases. And understanding this here, you start to get a concept of, see, a lot of traders, the reason why a lot of traders don't do well out of trading is like, for example, my platinum trade. Why did platinum make a big move? I wonder why. Now, by the way, FYI, the energy building phases and energy using phases, this platinum, look at this here. What was platinum doing for a whole 12 months? It was just what? Building a lot of energy. Why did I get involved with platinum? Because I knew this breakout here was like, oh my goodness, we just spent all this time building energy. Notice how this market didn't do anything for like 12 months. FYI, guys, whenever you get this here, we tend to get really big moves. But you notice I'm just utilizing it. I'm not even talking about volume here, by the way. But the purpose of me saying what I'm saying here right now, I hope you can see why I'm saying here, is that all this stuff on the actual chart is there to confuse you. Meaning like the stochastics, right? And then we get chopped in and chopped out and Traders, I'm telling you right now, I have just taught you 2 techniques that's going to supercharge your success rate into the 70 to 80%. Then we can fine tune it by looking at precise entry points, and we can get into the 80, 90% probability of having a successful trade, right? And then we can go there and go there and go there, right? I hope you can see what I'm saying here. So back to the GDX chart right now. There's a full coaching video for you guys to start you off this week. So right now, what am I looking for with the GDX? I'm looking for now. I'm just looking for a really good breakout bar to go long this. And by the way, guys, it's actually not that complicated, right? Remember, we have a 50-50 chance initially. We're in an upward trend. Yes. We've been going through an energy building phase for the last couple of months. Yes. What's going to come soon? We're going to go through an energy using phase. What is an energy using phase? Meaning the market's probably going to start to move. It's going to start to use that energy and buy it up and buy it up and buy it up. There's a high probability of that happening. Now, yes, there are times this may happen 8 times out of 10. And then this is where like you never want to go long now, right? One thing I've found is the best time to go long is when we do get a big breakout, but we get a big volume spike. We get that, the big volume spike behind the breakout after the energy building phase. Now we are talking. You get what I'm saying here, right? You get what I'm saying here. I hope you get what I'm saying here, because this is where it's actually not that complicated. This is where, guys, how do you be part, like for you, right? For you, that's if you want to become good at trading, right? If you want to become good at trading, we need to start to apply the mentality of what is the 1% of these markets. What are the 1% of these markets out there? And who are the 1% here? And then we can start to dive deep into this level here. And this is when you start to just apply 2 simple analysis. It's actually not that complicated, right? What's the trend? And after a big, long energy building phase, once we do start the breakout, right? And that's where you never want to get in early. You wait for the breakout first. It is likely to make a big move. Back onto the GDX. And the GDX, the top's in, right, guys? The top's in. Oh, my goodness. The top's in. Is it? Is it? What sort of phase are we doing right now in the GDX? Ooh. Energy using. What have we been doing? Energy building. What have we been doing through here? That's another one of those energy building phase. So if we know that, eventually what's going to happen? Green's going to start to appear, and we're probably going to go through what? Another energy, say it with me, energy using phase. Which means we've been building energy. This is where understanding the phases, right? Yes, trade with the trend, but trade after it's built enough energy to go for the next move. And then we go for the next move. As you can see, this is how it works. Right? Now, again, this is for trading opportunities. If you're a long-term buy and hold, even for 12 months, guys, this has nothing to do with you. Don't talk like, but John, I'm physical gold. Should I get out now? What are you talking about? I'm talking about a move that might last a couple of weeks here. You get what I'm saying here, right, guys? So anyway, and it's the same with all markets out there. SIL, what's SIL doing? The top's in. Oh my goodness, the top's in. Is it really? The market's going to go down. Why? Because there's divergences on stochastics. Oh my goodness, is there? I don't know. Right, but John, there's a double top here. I'm going to go short. But John, look, there's a double top here. I'm going to go short. And every time there was a double top, yeah, you made a small profit, but then there's a big move. Yeah, you made a small profit, but then there's likely to be a big move in the markets there, right? That's what I'm seeing there right now, guys. But this is how all markets work. So if we go to the stock market, we go to the good old stocky market, right? And when we start to apply this, especially on the weekly charts, what sort of phase have we been in now? Right? We've been in what phase? We've been in a very big energy using phase, right? What does this remind you of? Gold, right? Why? Or similar to gold. Why? Because gold also had a very big parabolic move for 3 months. What happened after gold did that? It either is going to have a good pullback or it's going to do nothing for 2-3 months. Why? Because we've run out of energy. AKA energy using, energy building, energy using, energy building. You get what I'm saying here? So that's why I've been giving warning signs. And then people are like, oh, you're an idiot, John. It's going to keep going up. It's like, what are you doing? What? Well, okay, well, yeah, it's gonna keep going up. It's probably, you know the whole tank of fuel here. You know how we talk about the tank of fuel? Yeah, we've probably got maybe 10% left. So you pick up those last scraps. What happens when you try to run your car for the last 10%? It starts to pick up those scraps, right? And sometimes you get clogged up, like right. So the good old stocky market, the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq, and all these markets here, right? And especially the Nasdaq. Look at the Nasdaq. What has the Nasdaq been doing all this time? We've been in very well. Look at all this here. We've had some sideways movement, but this has been what? In a big, massive energy using phase, right? We do know eventually it's going to run out of energy. Now, sometimes we do get these parabolic moves and it keeps going up. That's where your emotions. Oh my goodness, John. FOMO. Oh, John, FOMO. No FOMO. No FOMO, right? No FOMO on the markets. Because guess what is coming? Guess what's coming? An energy, say it with me, building phase. Oh no, John, it's not going to happen. That's what they said about gold. But this is how markets work. Insert but. Central banks are buying gold, John. That's why the gold's going up. That was a lot of people's theories and opinions. What happened to central banks for the last 3 months in gold? Did they go to sleep? They go nut nut? They go night night night? They go sleepy sleepy? No, it's not because the central banks are buying. If you just look at this from a common sense point of view, this is what markets do, right? And I know a lot of people who insert but. Stock market's going to keep going up, John, because the M2 money supply is... Stop looking at the but, the Trump, the tariffs, the inflation, the printing money, all that sort of crap. Right? Look at all that sort of stuff. Because guess what? Your butt is actually getting involved with the facts of how these markets work, and you're ruining with this emotion. Now, I know why you're probably looking at that, right? Because you're probably long the stock market right now, and you're looking for any reason why the market's going to keep going up and not go down. And anything someone says that is the opposite to you right now is an idiot. You're a moron, John. You have no idea what you're talking about. The market's going to keep going up. Yeah. How's the gold traders feeling for the last 3 months? Probably losing a lot of money. Probably getting chopped up, especially those futures traders, people that are buying call options. Oh, no. You don't hear from them anymore, right? So what I'm saying here, guys, I'm trying to give you the best chance of succeeding in these markets. And by the way, M2 money supply increasing. It's always been increasing. What happened for the last couple of years? Oh, say it with me. Energy building, energy building, energy building, energy building. Energy using, and energy using.